Welcome to Unit 3, Day 2, solving two-step equations. Day 1, we looked at solving one step. Now we're going to look at solving two steps. I mean, just two mathematical operations being done. Remember our order of operations, PEMDAS. We do parentheses first, then we do exponents, then we multiply and divide, and we follow that by addition and subtraction. When solving equations, we're going to also use PEMDAS, but we're going to do it in a different order. Solving is going to require us to work backwards and undo each operation. If you're ever stuck or confused where to start, sometimes the easiest way to figure out how to solve an equation is by first evaluating it, maybe with your favorite number. Pick any number you want. And then work backwards and undo each forward step that you did. So when we evaluate it, we use PEMDAS. Well, when we solve it here, we're going to reverse and undo. We're going to go in opposite order, and we're going to work our way upwards and backwards. So let's look at our first example. I want to solve the equation 2x plus 9 equals 33 for x. Well, what's happening to x? I am starting out by I am taking x and I am multiplying it by 2. And then I'm adding 9 to that. So my solving steps, I'm going to reverse that and undo it. I'm going to work backwards. Well, the last thing I did was add. So what's the opposite of addition? Subtraction. So I'm going to start by subtracting 9 when I solve it. Before adding, I multiplied. So the opposite of multiplication is to divide. And I'm going to divide by the same number, which is 2. So when I solve this, I'm going to start by subtracting 9 from both sides. They'll cancel on the left. Leaves me with just 2x on the left side of my equation equals 33 minus 9 is 24. So I've already subtracted 9. What do I do next? I'm going to divide by 2 because I do the opposite of multiplying by 2. Divide by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. The 2's on the left cancel out. I'm left with just x. 24 divided by 2 is 12. And there's my answer. One way to check to see if you did it right is you can plug it in. 2 times 12 is 24. 24 plus 9 is 33. Our next equation is I want to solve 37 equals 4x plus 7. 4x. Well, what I did first here is I rewrote this equation. I put the 37 on the left side and made it 4x plus 7 equals 37. I just flip-flopped the left side and the right side, which you can do. Well, what am I doing to x? First thing I'm doing is I'm multiplying by 4. Then I'm adding 7 to it. So when I solve this, I want to go in reverse order. So I'm going to work backwards. And I want to undo. How do I? So reverse order, start with, how do I undo adding 7? Subtract 7. How do I undo multiplying by 4? I'm going to divide 4. So as I solve this, I'm going to start by subtracting 7 from both sides. 7's cancel out on the left. Left with 4x equals 37 minus 7, which is 30. Then I want to divide by 4 to get x by itself. The x's will cancel out. 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. So I'm going to write as a decimal of 7.5. Next example, I want to solve x over negative 6, which means x divided by negative 6 minus 11 equals negative 5. So what am I doing to x? I'm dividing it by negative 6. and then I'm subtracting 11. So when I solve this, I want to reverse and undo. How do I? So we go reverse order. So I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. How do I undo subtracting 11? I add it. I'm going to add 11. How do I undo dividing by negative 6? I'm going to multiply by negative 6. So I'm going to start out by adding 11 to both sides. They'll cancel out here. If I add 11 to negative 5, on the left side I'm left with x divided by negative 6 equals negative 5 plus 11 is 6. How do I undo dividing by negative 6? I'm going to multiply by negative 6. So I'm going to take 6, I'm going to multiply it by negative 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Since it's being multiplied by negative, my answer is going to be negative 36. And my next example, 157 equals 27 minus 13x. Well, I'm going to rewrite this. First off, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to flip-flop the negative 13 and 27. So I'm going to think of this as negative 27 plus negative 13x. So I'm going to make it negative 13x plus 27 and flip-flop the left and right side, so that will equal 157. So what's happening to x? Starting out by multiplying by 13, and then I'm adding 27. So to reverse and undo, go in a reverse order, starting at the bottom. How do I undo adding 27? Subtract 27. How do I undo multiplying by 13? I'm going to divide by negative 13. So as I solve here, start out, subtract 27. Negative 13x, cancels out. 157 minus 27 is 130. How do I get rid of negative 13? I undo it. I divide by negative 13. So 130 divided by negative 13, and I end up with x equals negative 10. And it is negative because I'm taking a positive number and I am dividing it by a negative number. And the last example for today. Solve 2x divided by negative 5 minus 11 equals negative 5 for x. What am I doing to x? What are my forward steps? I'm starting out with x. I am multiplying it by 2. Then I am dividing it by negative 5, then subtracting 11. Well, notice here I actually have 3 steps. So I do have an extra step in this one. So reverse and undo. Well, how do I, starting at the bottom, how do I undo subtracting 11? I'm going to add 11. How do I undo division? I multiply. I'm going to multiply by negative 5. And how do I undo multiplying by 2? I'm going to divide by 2. So as I solve here, start out by adding 11 to both sides. Cancels out here. I have 2. 2x divided by negative 5 equals negative 5 plus 11, which is 6. Multiply by negative 5. The negative 5's cancel out. So I'm going to take 6, multiply by negative 5. 2x equals negative 30. How do I undo 2? Divide by 2. Negative 30 divided by 2 is negative 15. So my answer x equals negative 15. So you can finish up by clicking on the links to go to the Khan Academy practice problems, and then you can finish up by submitting your Schoology assignment.